Why do MPI need this new power as opposed to, I guess, an old-fashioned search warrant?
Look, what it is that they're just allowed to, as they are in the Search and Surveillance Act for fisheries, for wine, for the Crown Minerals Act and others. It's the same powers that they will have as the Search and Surveillance Act. And it's to go on and check, not into a house and not into a marae, if they suspect that there's non-compliance. And so that's the equivalence. They get a warrant if they know that there's non-compliance, and that's a slightly different operation. This piece of legislation, it was checked out and thoroughly canvassed when the National Party put through the Search and Surveillance Act. So all we were doing, and the NATE Act and Search and Surveillance went through the House under National at the same time, and what happened, they were both supposed to align, but there were technical mistakes made in the NATE Act that meant that if officers went onto a property, they weren't able to take property and use it as evidence. Now, it's clearly a bizarre situation, and it's a technical change, something that was discovered when they've been going through investigations for NATE and for M. bovis.
But if a NATE official went onto a property and had cause of concern to take and seize property, why couldn't they turn around, drive into a police station, get a warrant and seize that property?
They could go back and get that, and then the property or the stuff that they're trying to seize could be destroyed.
How possible is it for an amendment that we saw happen yesterday under urgency to occur so quickly and dramatically without consultation to any select committees that we didn't even see around the Christchurch earthquake?
I'm always suspicious of any government that rushes stuff through in urgency and says there's no time to send it to a select committee. What that suggests to me is either the Minister, Damien O'Connor, didn't actually understand what the legislation did, or he was so ashamed of what the legislation was going to do, he wasn't prepared to give it fair examination. That's why we objected so strongly. We kept the House going, arguing, above all else, this legislation should have gone to a select committee. It could have been done within 2 weeks, and you can't tell me this matter is so urgent after he's been the Minister for 10 months, sitting on a report on a review of NATE for the last 6 months, that he couldn't have allowed it another 2 weeks to have done the process properly.
Look, Katie, what's Federated Farmers' position on MPI granting NATE officials warrantless access to farms?
Yeah, no, it's been an interesting one. We have had a bit of toing and froing over the week around that, and obviously there's concern more to the fact that when you do quick legislation, you run into sometimes some potholes where it can unfortunately be poor legislation. Better off to have a process where everyone is consulted with, all the views come forward and all the points of understanding, all the pain points from a practical point of view on the ground are fully understood by officials and everyone as going through that process versus rushing something through under urgency and risking getting things wrong. And so far, we haven't fully been able to understand why they need that exact power. Everyone else has to go and get a search warrant, as has been clearly discussed round and round and round. So that's made it intriguing for us because it's not perfectly clear as to absolutely what does that bring that you couldn't already do.
Radio Live Rural Exchange. Radio Live Rural Exchange.